A man was severely kicking, beating, and stomping a toddler to death.
Major crimes detectives say the child was abused, tortured to death in Spokane last spring.
2-year-old Guillermo Alvarez died after police say he was beaten by his mother's boyfriend.
Andrew Roberts held the toddler by her feet and repeatedly banged her head on the floor.
I'm going to tell you a story about a baby girl named Brianna Lopez. Brianna was just like any other baby, small, fragile, innocent, and believed with all her heart that she was going to be loved from the moment she was born. But this wasn't the case for baby Brianna. At 5 months old, baby Brianna was raped and beaten to death by her father and uncle, while her mother slept through the screams and the cries for help. Baby Brianna was a victim of child abuse, or better put, child cruelty. This is her story.
It is one of the worst child abuse cases in New Mexico's history.
She was beat and bit and tortured.
Raped and killed by her father, Andy Walters, and uncle, Stephen Lopez.
They were throwing her up, and she was hitting the ceiling, and sometimes they would not catch her, and she would hit the floor. Obviously, we have a problem. It hasn't ended. I think that's the bigger issue, is the community turns a blind eye sometimes.
Just like baby Brianna, there are thousands of children out there suffering abuse right now. They are alone, they are scared, and they are desperately waiting for someone to come rescue them. At least 6 million children are abused every year, and rising, and another 2,000 die every year. That is 5 innocent children every day. Not only is child abuse a heinous act of cruelty against children, but it is also a recipe for a decaying society. 84% of the United States prison population was abused as children. 60 to 80% of addicts were abused as children. 60% of prostitutes were abused as children. 80% of abused children met the criteria for at least one psychological disorder. Our children are our nation's most valuable asset. They represent the bright future for our country and hold our hopes for a better nation. What future does our nation have when our young are being taught anger, suffering, hate, and violence? Think about this. Abused children are 6 times more likely to abuse their children. The abuse will not stop with them. You may think the problem doesn't affect you. Bottom line, it hits your wallet. The direct cost of child abuse and neglect in the United States annually is a minimum of $104 billion. Think about that.
Was holding on to the child and just threw her right into the bathtub, head hitting the bathtub, took her head and slammed it into the ground like at least 5 times.
Little Angelo Mendoza Jr. Police say his father bit out one of his eyes and nearly blinded the boy.
Police say the child's head was black from bruising and he suffered a broken leg.
Child abuse is happening whether you're aware of it or not. It is a silent, unspoken national crisis that is critically on the rise. Society believes that child abuse and neglect is a minor problem that only affects a few. Society also views child abuse as a family matter, not a crime, and turns a blind eye. We need to change the way we view child abuse. Children are not property and shouldn't be treated as so. Child abuse is not a family matter between the child and the parent. It is a crime, and we need to make it our business and get involved. Our system and laws are also reactive, and in order for things to change, we have to be a proactive society. If a child is abused, we have failed.
You didn't want to get in trouble. Open. Close your mouth. What is the consequence for pulling a card? A cold shower. Get undressed right now.
Because I pulled 3 cards.
You pulled 3 cards today. That is unacceptable behavior. You are to do what you are told.
Appears to violently pick up the child, slinging him by his arms into a playpen. And that's not enough. She picks the ball back up and hurls it at the baby's head. It was so hard you can see it knocks the 11-month-old completely over. Continue to throw what appears to be some type of towel at the child, then slaps him on the back of the head so hard he falls over again. While the baby's still laying on the floor, she throws another one until it hits him. In this clip, minutes later, it appears Campbell is trying to put the baby's socks on him when she gets mad. A police report says she swats at the child 11 times, then kicked him again.
The images of child abuse are heartbreaking, but it's reality, and we can all do our share to protect these children. There are 4 types of child abuse. Physical abuse: shaking, hitting, beating, burning, or biting a child. Anything purposely done to a child that causes physical harm or pain. Emotional abuse: constantly blaming or putting down a child. Excessive yelling, shaming, cursing, belittling, ignoring, rejecting, terrorizing, bullying, or harassment. Sexual abuse: incest. Any forced sexual activity, exposure to sexual activity not appropriate for the child's age, inappropriate touching. Neglect: failure to provide for the child's physical needs such as food, clothing, shelter, and medical care. A pattern of failure to provide for the child's emotional needs such as affection, attention, and supervision. Here are some ways you can help prevent child abuse. Be a nurturing parent. Children need to know that they are special, loved, and capable of following their dreams. Help a friend, neighbor, or relative. Being a parent is not easy. Offer a helping hand. Raise awareness. Speak about child abuse to your family. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your coworkers. Tell everyone. Get involved. Ask your community leaders, clergy, library, and schools to develop services to meet the needs of children and families. Support systems for communities. Here are some tips on how to respond to situations when you see a child being maltreated. We've all seen it, sometimes in the parking lot of the mall, grocery store, and sometimes in the children's own home. But most of us don't have a clue how to react. Call the police or security if you don't feel safe intervening in the situation. Get the license plate number of their vehicle in case the police don't arrive on time. Avoid any actions that are likely to increase a parent's anger or make the situations worse, such as negative remarks or looks. People should try to defuse the situation before it escalates. Here are some examples. Number 1. Start a conversation with the adult to direct attention away from the child. For example, being a parent sure is hard, isn't it? My child gets upset like that too. Can I help you? Number 2. Divert the child's attention if he is misbehaving by talking to the child. For example, the color of your shirt is so nice. My son has a shirt just like yours. Number 3. Look for an opportunity to praise the child or parent. Number 4. Offer to help. Provide helpful numbers or resources that will help this family find the support they need in their community for their issue, such as anger management, substance abuse, so forth. Visit facesofchildabuse.org for nationwide helpful resources. Number 5. If the child is in danger, call the police.
It's been the case that disgusted many. A woman appearing to blast a child with a shot from a pressure washing nozzle at a car wash.
She spent nearly 5 minutes maliciously and brutally beating him. The innocent child was kicked, choked, slapped, stepped on, yanked, and pulled. He was even hit in the face with his glass refrigerator door. And the only time this adult stopped abusing this child was when customers came too close to his crime. What you're seeing here is absolutely awful, but that's not even the worst of it. Some of the video was even more violent than this. And the end is also hard to watch, seeing a baby who knows no better than to follow his abuser.
We can prevent child abuse if we understand the severity of the problem and recognize that it is a crime and not a family matter. If we get involved and report it, if we take the proper preventive actions and raise awareness, if we provide the necessary education to children and adults, and if we modify or establish the necessary policies. But in order to make this happen, we all need to get involved. Children are worth protecting. By the time you finish reading this, over 10 innocent children will have suffered abuse, beatings, or molestation. Within the next minute, 6 more innocent children will be tortured. Today, 5 of those children will die.
Lights will guide